I bet. This is the Los channel, and in this video, we're gonna explain how ideas come and find you when you have momentum. So how like okay, first, how can I explain this, right? So the first thing I need you to get in your head is that kind of think of yourself as somebody with energy, right? Not that we're energy beings or like all this fucking, oh, we're one with the earth or we're one with God. No, 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 no. You have to be under Jesus Christ, right? But there's one thing, kind of think of yourself as that in the terms of this context, right? Well, first let's start off with ideas. Ideas are important because ideas will literally help you with your business. It'll help you with money. It'll help you with improvement. It'll help in so many areas, right? This is why ideas are so important, right? And usually if you look at the most productive people or the most wealthiest, most successful people, their day is designed for them to do the most essential task and then have time to relax and pamper themselves, right? In order for new ideas to come, right? In order for them to stay creative, right? Because if you just overwork yourself 24/7, there is kind of like this bliss moment. Especially if you're a lazy motherfucker, I would recommend that for like a 2-week process, just so you can finally get that thing of changing identity. But once after that, you're just shooting yourself in the foot, right? But if you're somebody who you've never had like that arc of locking in or that arc of overworking yourself to expand your limits and to really see what you're capable of, you should do that. I recommend that everybody have at least try it out for like once in your life or once a month, where you have one day out of the whole month where you don't sleep, and you make sure it's a day where you get so much done, right? But to get back to the point, the reason why people don't get inspired or don't have these big ideas that come to them, or they don't, their business is stuck in a loop where they can't seem to like get out of it, is because honestly they're not changing. Now, how can I explain it? Thinking ourselves in the terms of energy, right? Energy is never sitting still. It's always in motion, right? So the one big thing that you have to realize is if you're not getting new ideas, new inventions, new this, new that, or just not getting inspired enough, it's because usually you're sticking to the same routine, right? So if you're just going about the motions of your day, you kind of, the human craves a lot of self-discovery, right? Because in the Bible, it tells us about our heart. Our heart is wicked, right? So the soul and the mind always want to test itself and always want to seek out pleasure and seek out the most easiest path of resistance, but at the same time wants everything else in the world, right? Wants the most of the desired outcome with the least amount of work, right? So obviously ideas will not come to you as fast if you're just sticking to the same old routine, if you're just sticking to the same old day, right? Eventually this is how people become depressed, with just every day being normal, right? They kind of become numb to the world, and then they start to think too much or do this or do that, or they just try to cope, right? That's why also a lot of extroverted people, or a lot of people that need to be around friends a lot, they always need to be talking to somebody, right? The one thing that I need you to understand is that with bigger risk comes bigger reward. And in terms of this, with bigger momentum comes bigger reward, right? We'll break this down and we'll apply this using my philosophy evolution, right? Now, my philosophy evolution, it's composes of 3 things, right? That all interlink: trauma, chaos, or momentum, right? Obviously, I've talked a lot about momentum today, so we're going to talk about momentum, right? Because with momentum comes newer ideas, comes newer people, newer insights. So what I want you to do is, I want you, either in your day-to-day life, if you can do this, switch it up to a point where you're forced to talk to new people, be in new scenarios, be in new situations, right? Or if you don't really have the access to do that, right? I want you to do something completely brand new, just one day, right? And not something in because if you watched my videos before, you'll know that I talk a lot about chaos. I'm not asking you to do something chaotic, even though again that is the best way to change your identity. But for this video, we're gonna focus more on momentum. But what I'm talking to you about is, like, let's say if you live near a mountain, just one day randomly go climb a mountain, let's say you don't really play sports, randomly play basketball one day. Randomly do new habits that generally aren't in your structured way of identity, right? With these new habits comes either new people, new insights, and new ideas because you're doing something different. Again, if energy is never sitting still, it's always in motion, right? But you've been doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, expecting a different result, right? Which I'm not saying that, randomly you won't bump into a new person at the grocery store, or you won't get new ideas, but it will just be at a slower rate, right? So in order to speed this process up, you need to experience more life, right? Now, obviously, this has been like, what's the word, like glamorized by the internet, because most people are socially isolated. They view themselves as losers. They don't have no friends, no this, right? But I'm saying that these ideas can still come with you just being by just being by yourself, right? Just do something that isn't that big of a risk, but it's just something different, right? What these actions will do is that they'll generate new ideas, right? So now, if it kind of think of the energy of ideas was blocked, now it's unloosening, and now eventually with newer actions and with newer insights or newer outcomes, again it will pour again, right? That's why sometimes that's why I usually recommend, if you have a winning system, do not change it. But that when it does become stale, or when money does become stale, that's when I'll go do something different, or I'll go do this, or go travel, or just do something different that you haven't been doing, and then you'll either for the better or the worse, you kind of see that your life will kind of change, right? Or even financially, right? That's why a lot of people treat money like energy. The money's just energy, right? But it's just like, the more you experience life, the more different outcomes, the more different ideas you're gonna get, right? So this is where they get that saying from. Now, also, if you've noticed that maybe your money flow, or just your whole life, or these ideas, they're coming to you at a slower rate, another big thing is, honestly, the first tip, you can apply it immediately right now, right after this video, but this next point is really gonna be probably the most important point, and that is what I call on this channel slaying the dragon. A lot of you guys have the dragon, and what I mean by that is that you have the big issue that you're avoiding facing. A lot of you guys are fat. A lot of you guys feel like a lot of you guys have the financial issue. A lot of you guys have the trauma that you've never unpacked as a kid. A lot of you guys are still living in your high school years, right? And what I mean by that is that you're 30, but you're still fucking reliving what Stacey said about you, or how she rejected you in high school, or, some stupid shit. You guys are reliving your traumas, and it's like, well, no wonder life is not changing, because you're not facing life. You haven't tackled the dragon yet. You haven't slayed it yet. All right. And the most sad thing about this is that most people, right, only slay one of the dragons, right? Like, if you look at a lot of people that are into fitness, most fitness people, the only dragon they slay is the weight issue. They don't have the love issue, the money issue, the friends issue. It's still gone. Those dragons are still there, but the only thing that's conquered is the weight issue, which is a big thing. I've personally gone through that, but it's like, after you've mastered how to lose weight, it's like, okay, well, I'm still in the same position. Still don't got money, still don't got this, still got that, right? And I'm not saying that life is all about what you can get, or what is, just accomplishing more and more and more and more. But the thing is, a lot of you people are actually real life suffering, but you're worried about ideas, right? And so really, I know you might have clicked on this video for all the cool new tips for ideas and stuff like that. But honestly, your life will change once you conquer that dragon, once you slay that dragon, right? So once you face the big main issue in your life, I'm telling you, ideas, new insights, new perspective, new people will come, right? And then last tip, this one's kind of basic, but it's also staying active, right? This is why when you go and walk outside, sometimes you'll get that new idea, or you want to stay active, you want to be in momentum, right? Because if we're thinking of these ideas as energy, right, and we're thinking ourselves in this context as energy, well, energy never sits still, it's always in motion. So the more momentum, right, you have in life, whether it's just a physical momentum, right, a spiritual momentum, or financial momentum, right, just the more momentum you have will generate more ideas, right? And again, we all start somewhere. Slow motion is better than no motion, right? But I think a really big part is that a lot of people sit in their house all day and they wonder why they're not inspired, right? You just go out for a walk, 20 minute walk, right? And I guarantee you, you're gonna get an insight. You're gonna get an idea over time, right? And again, we cannot force these ideas to come to us, because there is a demonic way on how people do this, right, through rituals and through demonic practices. But us as Christians, right, or as people, as normal people that don't want to do that, these ideas will have to come to us naturally, right? And so we just have to focus on what we can do, try to focus on getting the preferred outcome in life, right? But yeah, so again, right, to summarize the whole video, right, the first thing, right, is to experience new and different things, right? So again, it could be getting a job, getting another job, right? There are times in my life where I've gotten a job off the simple fact that me meeting with these new people, or me getting this new experience of even if it's just a basic ass experience of getting a new job, but because I'm surrounded by new people and different people, because if you work at a customer service job, because maybe I'm gonna meet different people I never would have met in my life because I started working at that job, an idea will come, right? And I get this all the time, right? When I'm working at my job at work, right, because I've perfected how I mastered the system, an idea will come to me for a video idea, and I'll immediately jot it down in my notes, right? But this is how ideas will come to you, right? And yeah, so again, right, doing newer things, right, basically solving the big issue in your life, right? So stop running, stop hiding from the pain that you don't want to face. Do it now, and I guarantee you ideas and insights will come to you, right? And then number 3 is being physically active, right? These are the 3 best ways in order for you to get ideas, right? Anyways, this has been the King Los channel, and I'll see you on the next one.